Bonjour, comment allez-vous? This is the Crypto Kid podcast, and today we discuss the Trump victory and expect lawsuits. So, happy uh, Wednesday. I've been up all night. Okay, I slept a couple of hours, but I've been up on and off the entire night waiting for the statistics and for the data, and they just weren't delivered until this morning. But it is official. The AP press has called it. CNN, MSNBC. Donald Trump has 280 electoral college votes. Kamala Harris has 224. Donald Trump is leading Kamala Harris by more than a million in the popular vote, yet they have not called the popular vote, and I don't expect that to be done until Friday. But this sizable difference in the Trump lead in the popular vote, I do not believe will be eroded because all of the states in the popular vote, all of the states are leaning red with all the swing states. So, specifically, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Nevada, Arizona are all leading towards Trump in the actual popular vote. Donald J. Trump has more than 1 million votes, more than a 1 million vote lead ahead of Kamala Harris. And it is expected that the gap will grow larger and Donald Trump will pull further and further away. And this will be the first time since 2004 that a Republican has won the electoral college vote and the popular vote. And I think this just puts to rest a lot of claims. Many of CNN are suggesting that the only way that there could be such a difference in Donald Trump winning all of the swing states and then losing all of those swing states in 2020 is to election fraud. Yes, you heard it from CNN. CNN earlier today has said that they believe that the only way Donald Trump could have won with Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Nevada, and Arizona is due to election fraud on behalf of the Democrats. There's no way that he could all of a sudden out of nowhere take the seven swing states that he had won in 2016, but then he lost all of them in 2020. And then now again in 2024 with election integrity being enforced. And I created that term in 2020 along with, and I sent an email to Rush Limbaugh right before his passing saying that the problem is election integrity and that we need to take care of that. And the GOP has received a B plus. They still could have done better, but in my book, they receive a B plus for improving election integrity. And I want to send shots out to the judges in the Supreme Court in Pennsylvania and Georgia. Thank you for being objective and doing your job as far as jurisprudence and ruling effectively and giving an effective ruling, I should say, that votes, ballots without dates, with questionable dates, or they're outdated, cannot be included in the count. And on top of that, both states stopped ballots from coming in past the day of election. And this is in Pennsylvania and Georgia, which everyone believes were determining factors in Georgia and Pennsylvania going to Joe Biden in 2020. So I'm glad that this has all been worked out. I wish the fake news mainstream media would put that out there because then it would help the Democratic voter understand these changes that have occurred. Kamala Harris is expected to give her concession speech at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 2 p.m. Mountain Time. And I am going to go live here on YouTube Live in real time when that announcement is made so I can give you all of the information for everyone that is at work. People that are in a different country, I want you to get the information raw, live. Bitcoin is at the price of $75,230 in US dollars, as I expected the day that the official announcement of Donald J. Trump being the 47th US president. Bitcoin would surpass the price of 75,000 US dollars, and it is currently trading at $75,230. Let's see if there's any update. Okay, Bitcoin is now at 75,332 US dollars. So it is gaining momentum, and this is great for the markets. Donald Trump, the pro Bitcoin cryptocurrency president, along with his pro Bitcoin team of JD Vance, vice president elect, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Mr. Health guy. This is just going to be a great thing. And Tulsi Gabbard will be a part, and Elon Musk will be a part of Donald J. Trump's cabinet. So, I'm putting this out here, Trump family, Donald Jr., Eric Jr., contact me, bring me in. I'll be great. I don't believe I'll get the call for the first time around as far as being chief of staff. But later on, I believe that Donald J. Trump will find some place for me, maybe in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency arena within the White House. And I will be glad to serve the country on behalf of all Americans, Democrats, Independents, and Republicans, so that we can use this effective cryptocurrency. Donald J. Trump said, here's one thing that I do not agree with Donald J. Trump, who I love, is that he's going to put protections on the US dollar. There's nothing you can do to protect the US dollar. Fiat currencies have no value right now. The US dollar is the main reason why the majority of Americans are in poverty, is because we are using a currency that is controlled by a quasi government but private owned bank, which is the Federal Reserve. And they've manipulated the value of the US dollar so much that people don't have confidence in the US dollar. And there's nothing any president, even Donald Trump, which people love, because remember, cryptocurrency and blockchain technology is created by geeks who are mathematicians and software developers. And we all have our different political views, Democrats, Independents, and Republicans. But one thing we all have in common is we don't trust the US government. We don't trust how the US government has been dealing with the US dollar and its valuation ever since, with Henry Kissinger convincing Richard Nixon to get off the gold exchange. That was the blow that really destroyed the US dollar. And since that time, there's nothing that can recover. So if Donald J. Trump pays off the $35 trillion US debt with Bitcoin, but then doubles down on the US dollar, the economy is going to go back into inflation, because what will happen is the US Treasury will just go back to printing more money. And then in the event, and when it eventually does happen, that the Republicans lose control over Congress, that and possibly the House, that then the Democrats will pass bills with excessive spending, which will put the U.S. economy back into a deficit. And so one of the executive orders that Donald J. Trump needs to do is go back to a mandatory mandate of balancing the budget. That is what has not happened for more than 30 years. The Congress keeps spending money that it doesn't have. It keeps giving money freely away to Israel, its friend, and then now it's doing it to the Ukraine. And the United States cannot be the global police of the world. Now, we all know that whether it's the Democrats or the Republicans, we are not the moral compass. We've done too much as a nation to try to establish ourselves as the moral authority. Like, no one's going to accept, given what the Democrats and the Biden-Harris administration, given what Nancy Pelosi did, and Hillary Clinton while Donald Trump was president, and this was supported and backed by Barack Obama. Given what the Democrats have done for the last 8 to 9 years against the Republicans, and it's visible with the attacks on Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, suing anybody that had anything to do with Donald Trump, putting Steve Bannon in jail, Chris Navarro, Roger Stone, all these people, putting them in prison. The world has seen this. And so the United States, even under Donald Trump, is in no position to try to establish itself as a moral authority. The distrust has globally been lost. The Democrats have resulted in other countries losing respect for us, especially the Hispanic nations, where their leaders can see what Joe Biden and Harris and the DOJ have been doing to Donald Trump, all these lies that have floated around for 8 to 9 years, starting with the Russian dossier. Hillary Clinton needs to go to prison for that. And so does Nancy Pelosi for her reprehensible behavior in allowing January 6th to occur in the first place. In addition to that, she needs to be investigated because, from my understanding, she's been in Congress from around 20 years or more, and the average salary has been $150,000, which would make her, and she's had to pay taxes, so that when you take the taxes out, she should be worth a little less than $2 million. I proposed that she was worth $20 million. She's actually worth $200 million. And that needs to be investigated, specifically when Nancy Pelosi, who was a board director of Visa, who was a major shareholder, she dumped stock. And then the very next day, the FBI announced an investigation into Visa. That's a clear example of insider trading. And who went to prison for that purpose? Martha Stewart. So if I were Martha Stewart, I would start to get vocal and go on social media, and anybody, I would even use the program that she has to make, jibes and comments about Nancy Pelosi and her, and then Paul Pelosi getting Apple stock. If I were Martha Stewart, I would go hard in the yard and just make comments, snide gestures towards her, pointing out, because it's clear that she's done something illegal. You are not worth $200 million off a $150,000 salary over 20 years, and you have no investment experience. No, there's something illegal going on there that needs to be immediately investigated. With that, we'll sign out today. We'll definitely come back later on when Kamala Harris goes live and give her official concession speech to Donald Trump. We will come back and go live. Here in Tucson, Arizona, we also will give you updates when Kari Lake is determined the winner, and I'm not expecting that until Friday. I expect today, Wednesday, by the end of the day, that she will be announced as the leader. With that, this is the Crypto Kid signing out. Remember, the future is crypto.